These are the 10 best sneakers for summer 2024. Number 10, the Adidas Campus 00. The 00s are a new take on the classic Adidas Campus silhouette, essentially turning them from a retro basketball sneaker into a thick and chunky, almost skateboarding style shoe. In most colorways, the shoe features a suede upper that is just super plush and super puffy. And while I love the original Adidas Campus, and I also love the Bad Bunny Adidas Campus, I think it's fire, this Campus 00 is super wearable, super clean, and it comes in a ton of different colorways. And from what I can tell, it almost rivals the Samba as one of the most popular Adidas sneakers of the year. For 110 bucks, it's a pretty budget-friendly shoe, and it's also very comfortable, at least the top half of the shoe, because it's so well padded. The midsole and outsole is just kind of your standard rubber cup sole, so it's nothing special, but it's a shoe that you really can just throw on with any fit, and it looks good. Number 9, the Nike Air Force 1 Low. I mean, are you surprised that this shoe is on the list? It's been on every top 10 summer sneaker list that I've done since probably 2016 when I started the channel, and it probably will continue to be on every top 10 summer list because it's a timeless shoe. The Air Force 1 first released back in the 80s as a basketball sneaker and has lived on to this day as one of the most popular sneakers available. And for a Nike sneaker, it's about as simple as you can possibly get. You've got a basic leather upper, in most cases white or black, although you can grab it in a bunch of different colors and color blocking. You've got a rubber cup sole and an air unit. And for a shoe that first released like 40 something years ago, it's incredibly comfortable on foot. It's actually weirdly comfortable. I mean, compare it to the Air Jordan 1, the Nike Dunk, or any shoe that's similar to this shoe. It's more comfortable than all of them, and I don't know why. I mean, sure, it probably has something to do with the air unit, which to be fair, the Air Jordan 1 also has. Maybe it's the construction of the upper, I'm not sure, but either way, this shoe looks amazing, it's iconic, and it feels really great on feet. And I mean, if you grew up liking sneakers, you probably had a pair of white Air Force 1s. I think most people did. It's a classic sneaker, it's iconic, it's been worn by pretty much everybody. Unfortunately, over the last year or so, the Air Force 1 has gone through some pretty major price jumps from like a $90 price point that we were used to pre-pandemic to now $115, so it's gone up about 25 bucks, which is not crazy, but it's more than I think it should have gone up. So you are definitely paying more for a shoe that doesn't really give you anything new or different, but honestly, I still think it's worth it. 115 bucks is still in that sort of budget sneaker range, and you can rock it all summer long, feel great, look great, and you're good to go. And I mean, if you're looking for an all-white summer sneaker, look no further, the Air Force 1 Low is the one to get. Number 8, the Adidas AE1. This is one of my favorite all-around sneakers of the year, and yes, I understand that this is a performance basketball shoe. This shoe is specifically designed for the basketball court, but man, this shoe is dope. First of all, this is Anthony Edwards' signature shoe with Adidas, actually his first signature shoe ever, and in my opinion, this could be one of the best first signature basketball sneakers of all time. Michael Jordan had the Air Jordan 1, that's obviously up there for me, it's my favorite sneaker of all time, but other than that, it's hard for me to think of an athlete whose first signature shoe I actually like that much. But man, the AE1 all around is absolutely incredible. Whether you're playing basketball in the shoe or just wearing it casually, which you can do, it's a great looking sneaker. Performance-wise, this shoe does great on court. It's got a decent traction pattern, you've got herringbone, it's got a really soft underfoot cushion, the upper is super supportive and flexible. I mean, it really is one of the best performance basketball sneakers of the year, and it's only 120 bucks. It's cheaper than most of the other performance basketball sneakers this year. Some LeBrons are like $200, the Giannis's I think are like $140, $150, I'm not sure exactly how much they are. The Hardens are $160, like there's a lot of other good basketball sneakers out there, but they're all priced more than this. And this design is super unique. Some people I understand might not like it, you get that sort of tryptophobia from it, totally understand that, but I really dig this honeycomb look, it's dope, and the new pink low tops that are coming out that Anthony Edwards is currently wearing in the playoffs, incredible, a pair that I have to get. And so for me, as someone who plays basketball very casually but likes to rock basketball sneakers casually, the Anthony Edwards one is probably my favorite sneaker of the year. Let me restate that, modern performance basketball sneaker of the year. There are other sneakers that I think I like better, but this shoe overall is probably the best that you can buy for basketball sneakers right now. And it's actually the only modern performance basketball sneaker that I put on today's list. So if you're looking for a pair of basketball sneakers that you can wear on court or casually, this is the one to get. And again, it's 120 bucks. That's insane for what you're getting. Number 7, the Air Jordan 1 Low. As many of you know, the Air Jordan 1 is my favorite sneaker of all time. And the Air Jordan 1 Low is a low top version of my favorite sneaker, and in my opinion, it's a great summer shoe. And even though the hype of the Jordan 1 has absolutely died down in 2024, that's actually a great thing because it means you can find pairs of these at the outlet, and Jordan Brand is releasing a ton of really great colorways like this, the Trophy Room Air Jordan 1s. Now yes, I realize that this collaboration is not really accessible to most people. It resells for about $500, which is what I paid for it. But there are a lot of really great Air Jordan 1 Low colorways, which you can actually find for below retail, like the Air Jordan 1 Low Shadows, which I'm using for B-roll. It's crazy to me that an Air Jordan 1 Low in an OG colorway is going for under retail before it even releases, but it is, and I think you're crazy if you don't pick it up. The Air Jordan 1 Low is just a clean, simple sneaker that's really easy to rock, and it comes in a ton of different colorways that you can buy in most cases for under retail. Speaking of retail, the retail price of this shoe varies from $125 to $140 depending on which version of the shoe that you're looking at, but I mean really for either one of those prices, I think the shoe is worth it. Again, the Shadow 1 Lows that are releasing later this month, incredible. There's also the Air Jordan 1 Low Metallic Navy 85s that released earlier earlier this year, which are incredible, which again go for under retail. There's so many good Jordan 1s going for under retail right now. You can grab like 3 of them for the same price as something like this and have shoes to rock all summer, and you're good to go. And if you're a hypebeast and you're a sucker for expensive collaborations, the Air Jordan 1 has you covered in that department as well. You've got the Trophy Rooms, you've got the Travis Scotts, which are releasing later this month, and you've also got a bunch of different Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 lows that you can buy right now for a lot over retail, but there's a lot of different options there for you. The Air Jordan 1, great silhouette. If you haven't tried a pair yet, definitely recommend it. Number 6, the Nike Dunk Low and the Nike SB Dunk Low. So the Nike Dunk actually released right around the same time as the Air Jordan 1, also as a basketball sneaker, and was actually overshadowed by the Air Jordan 1 in popularity. But over the last couple decades, the Nike Dunk became one of the most popular and cult classic sneakers of all time. Specifically the Nike SB Dunk, which is Nike's skateboarding division. The SB Dunks became incredibly popular not just as a skateboarding shoe, but also as a lifestyle sneaker because of the insane collaborations that this shoe received over the last few decades. Collaborations like this, the Concepts Orange Lobsters, or the upcoming Futura Nike SB Dunk Lows. Now there are a few differences between the Nike Dunk Lows and the Nike SB Dunk Lows. The SB Dunk Lows look a little bit chunkier, they've got a thicker tongue, they're a bit more expensive, and they also feature an air unit in the insole of the shoe. These shoes tend to be specifically designed for skateboarding and usually release at skateboarding stores and are also a lot more limited. The standard Nike Dunk Lows are much more widely available. They come in at a retail price of $115, and while they don't feature the same sort of padding or cushioning technology as the SB Dunk, they still look very similar and they're still great all-around shoes. And actually, like the Air Jordan 1s, back around the pandemic, the Nike Dunk Lows were one of the most popular shoes that you could possibly buy, and now the hype has kind of died down and you can find a bunch of different colorways available for retail at your local Foot Locker, which is amazing. There's like 1,000,003 colorways of the Nike Dunk Lows. No matter what colorway you're looking for, you can probably find a pair for a reasonable price, and it's a great summer shoe because not only is it a low top, but you can get it in any color that you want. I'm not gonna lie, the standard Nike Dunk Low is not the most comfortable shoe in the world. The Air Jordan 1s, the Air Force 1s, and even the Nike SB Dunk Lows are more comfortable overall, but I mean, they're all not the most comfortable shoes in the world, let's be real. But either way, you really can't go wrong with the Nike Dunk Low in any colorway. Number 5, the New Balance 9060. There are so many good New Balance sneakers that I want to put on this list, we just don't have space for them, and I feel like this is the perfect embodiment of all of them. And the 9060s are also the pair of New Balances that I see on most people's feet, more so than any other pair of New Balances, so I felt like this is a good one to include on the list. The 9060 is a brand new silhouette from New Balance that takes design cues from the classic 990 line. I think the way I describe it is like a retro-inspired modern shoe. It features all of the newer technologies of modern sneakers, but it also features that sort of retro 2000s era design, and it's cool. Like, it's a cool looking sneaker. That midsole is pretty different from anything that you usually see in running sneakers nowadays. I think the first colorway of this shoe to drop was the Joe Freshgoods collaboration, which is kind of unbeaten in my mind in terms of 9060s. It looked amazing, but there are so many good non-collaboration colorways that have also dropped that are readily available that I definitely recommend checking out if you haven't yet. In addition to looking good, it's also just a very comfortable shoe. It feels good underfoot, the upper is pretty well padded, it's a solid sneaker, and for 150 bucks, it's also not a bad price. I'm like 87% sure though that you can find a pair of these on sale at most stores. So if you're looking for a pair of these and you don't really care as much about the colorway, try and find a pair on sale and you can probably save like 30 bucks. But hey, even if you have to pay full retail for it, I still think it's absolutely worth it. Number 4, the Asics Gel NYC. Asics is doing huge things in 2024. In fact, it's one of the brands to beat right now. It's crazy how popular they are. I mean, they've always been around, sure, but like Crocs, they were the kind of brand that people would just kind of shove off as like, no one really wears those shoes except for people who are trying to be comfortable, to now being a shoe that everyone wants on feet because they look good and they're popular. And I mean, up until recently, sneakerheads didn't even really seem to care about Asics. I mean, they could wear them for runs, they were comfortable. There were a few that were relatively popular, like the Gel Light 3s, the Salmon Toes, but for the most part, they weren't really on hypebeast radars. But with this like Y2K running sneaker revival that's happening right now, Asics being the brand that sort of championed that back in the 2000s, it's blown up, and they're absolutely capitalizing on the hype right now. In fact, they've released a brand new silhouette called the Asics Gel NYC. So this shoe is actually a mashup of two older silhouettes, the Asics Gel Nimbus 3 and the Gel MC Plus 5. And it seems like Asics is really pushing this new silhouette because they've put so many dope collaborations on it. You've got the Hidden collab, you've got the Bodega collab, I know there are more, I just can't remember them. And it's just a great looking, comfortable lifestyle sneaker. It's super easy to wear, it's apparently inspired by NYC, and it's dope. There's not much else to say about it. If you like this aesthetic, you're gonna love this shoe. And I mean, even if you don't wanna grab a collaboration colorway of this shoe, there are so many non-collab colorways that are super clean, super easy to wear. Not super easy to find, but you can find them in stores. Plus, it's not even that expensive at $130. There are other shoes that we've talked about on this list that are more expensive, less comfortable, and in my opinion, don't even look as good. So if you haven't tried out a pair of ASICs recently, the Gel NYC is not a bad way to go. Number 3, the Nike Zoom Vomero 5. I think this is one of the most comfortable shoes on the list. I mean, it was originally designed as a running sneaker, and running sneakers tend to be comfortable. You've got a foam midsole with some zoom in it, you've got a nicely padded upper, and it's relatively breathable. This shoe first released back in the mid-2000s as a running sneaker, obviously part of the Vomero line, the 5th Vomero, and even to this day, decades later, we're still getting Vomero sneakers. But for some reason, the Vomero 5 has become the iconic Vomero shoe. And what's weird is that that wasn't always the case. In fact, after the shoe first released, no one cared about it until like 2019 when a collaboration brought the shoe back. I think the collab was a cold wall, and they added this like weird heel thing on the back of it. Looked ridiculous in my opinion, but it got people to remember the Vomero 5. And since then, Nike decided to revive the sneaker as a lifestyle shoe. Sure, you can still run in it, but it is mainly a lifestyle sneaker. And for the last year or two, the shoe was actually really difficult to get. In fact, it would sell out almost immediately in pretty much any colorway. Now in 2024, it's become a lot more widely available, so it is easy to walk into a store and grab them. In fact, you can even find pairs in the Nike outlet. It's not super easy to find them in the outlet, but you can find them there. And it's an all-around dope shoe. It's comfortable, it looks good if you like the 2000s running sneaker aesthetic. But what's interesting is that unlike a lot of the other 2000s running sneakers that are on this list, it doesn't look exactly the same. Like, it doesn't have thin metallic overlays that all the other shoes have. It kind of goes for a more monochromatic look, at least in most colorways. There are some with thin metallic overlays, but most of them are monochromatic, and I think that looks amazing. But even without those hits, it's still got that sort of like overcomplicated, futuristic tech look that all the 2000s running sneakers have, and I think that's one of the reasons why people like it so much. It comes in at a retail price of $160, but you can find some pairs at the Nike outlet, maybe some pairs on sale. It's hard to do, but you can find them. It looks good, it feels good. It's just a great all-around, non-flashy sneaker. Number 2, the Air Jordan 4. In 2024, the Air Jordan 4 is by far the most popular Jordan Retro available on the market. In fact, almost every colorway of these that drop sell out immediately, except for the Vivid Sulfur 4s. I'm still not sure why those haven't sold out yet. Either way, a lot of the most popular sneaker releases of the year are Air Jordan 4s, like the Bread 4s and the Industrial Blues that are releasing later this week, probably already released by the time you're watching today's video. I still don't have a pair yet, but I'm using B-roll from the pair that I had for a review, so check that out. Even though the shoe first released back in 1989, the popularity is at peak levels right now because the design of this sneaker is so wearable, it's very comfortable on foot, well, compared to other Jordan Retros, and it looks really, really good. Now, the Jordan 4 is one of the only mid sneakers that we have on the list, and it's also one of the heavier shoes that we have on the list, but even with the slightly higher cut, it's the kind of Jordan Retro that you can rock with shorts, and it works great. Now, like most Jordan Retros, the Jordan 4 has a very rich history when it comes to Michael Jordan and basketball, but even if you don't care about that history and you don't care about basketball, it's the kind of shoe that you can throw on, rock every day. It's very comfortable, and it's very stylish. I mean, really, you can rock these with sweatpants, you can rock these with jeans, you can rock these with shorts, you can rock these with cargos. It does not matter. The Air Jordan 4 is very, very versatile. To be fair, so are a lot of shoes on the list, but not every shoe on the list. Some of the shoes that we've talked about, you really have to wear with certain pants. Unfortunately, the downside to the Air Jordan 4, besides the high retail price of $215, making it the most expensive shoe on the list, it's really difficult to get pairs of these for retail because they sell out so quickly. And because a lot of the colorways that are dropping this year are OG colorways or very popular colorways like the Bread 4s or the Industrial Blue / Military Blue 4s, you are gonna have to pay resale for a lot of these colorways. The good news is it's not that much over retail, like $50 to $100, which yes, sounds like a lot, and it is, but it's less than you would have had to pay a couple years ago. But let's be real, no matter what the situation, you really can't go wrong with a pair of Air Jordan 4s. And yes, you could ball on them if you wanted to. I mean, they are basketball sneakers. Would I do that? Probably not, but you could. And I mean, let's be real, the Air Jordan 4 is a sneakerhead shoe. It's the kind of shoe that you only wear if you're into sneakers. Like, you can rock Dunks, and people will be like, oh, he's rocking Dunks, but a lot of people rock Dunks. They're very widely available now. Same thing with Air Forces. But with the Air Jordan 4, you kind of have to put in some legwork. So when you're rocking a pair of 4s, you know what you're rocking. Number 1, the Asics Gel Kayano 14. I think the Asics Gel Kayano 14 might be the shoe that I wear the most this year. Originally released back in 2008 as a performance running sneaker, because of this sort of Y2K sneaker trend that we're having right now, this shoe has become one of the most popular sneakers of the year. In fact, it's actually kind of difficult to find a pair of these in store for retail. This colorway in particular, I bought for resale, and I think I paid like almost $80 over what it usually sells for. Which I gotta say that if you told me a year ago that I was gonna be spending almost $100 over retail for a pair of Asics, I would have laughed you out of the room. But I'm not gonna lie, recently I've become an Asics convert. I mean, we talked about the Asics Gel NYC earlier on in the video, a great sneaker, but the Gel Kayano 14, in my opinion, is a better looking silhouette, and it's the pair that I've thrown on more often. In addition to being a viable running sneaker, this shoe is also a low top shoe that's super comfortable and easy to wear all day. That has a lot to do with the gel in the midsole, just like the Gel NYCs. You've got gel in the name with Gel Kayano 14. Not only that, the upper of the shoe is super comfortable. It's well padded around the heel area. It's very breathable because it's basically just a mesh on your toes. And the 2000s running sneaker aesthetic is really in right now, and this shoe literally embodies that. You've got the thin metallic silver overlays, which every 2000s running sneaker needs to have. It's got that aggressive low top look. It's got the wide mesh. Everything that you're looking for from a 2000s running sneaker, this has, because, well, it released in 2008, so it literally is a 2000s running sneaker. The design might not be for everybody, but the people that like this look, this is their go-to shoe. Plus, I can't really overstate the comfort of this shoe. It's the kind of shoe you can throw on and forget you're wearing it. For 160 bucks, the Asics Gel Kayano is definitely not the cheapest shoe on the list, especially if you have to pay resale for it, but it's the kind of shoe that you can rock all summer long, feel good, look good, and the style is just really hot right now. Unlike your feet, because these are breathable, and the Apothecary socks that you'll be wearing with these are also very breathable.